Namaste, Shunya. Last week, the oncologist said that I had beaten all statistics so far. I got some contentment from that, but what does it mean to the soul, and how can I take that to an even higher level in my current situation?
The only real focus, regardless of the condition of the body, is on the soul's awakening to the fact that you are not the body, and that the body's condition and the body's death are completely irrelevant. However, what is relevant is the death of the ego. Because if you remain in the ego, then whenever the body expires, those ego sanskaras will cause you to have to be reborn in another life at this very end of Kali Yuga, which is not a very good idea. You want to graduate in this life now and be able to be in that state in which your consciousness is no longer affected by whatever pain or suffering is in the body because of whatever symptoms or physical conditions or other karmic events that have caused the body to reach a point where one is facing its death. And one wants to already be in that space where one can face death without anxiety and know that you are deathless. And you have to know it because you are it, not you believe it, you think it, you have faith in that. No, it has to be realized. And it should be realized immediately, because the sanskara of delay and of trying to focus even on healing the body rather than awakening the soul and reaching liberation, that has to be first. Because it may not be the will of God for the body to last very long on this plane, and that should be completely a matter of indifference. And recognize that it's a blessing when you leave this realm and enter the light and serve at the angelic level of being, a much higher level of our consciousness. So have no fear and no wishes that things were different or any of that, but remain in the stillness. And then, if it is meant for healing to happen, that will allow that miraculous occurrence. If it is meant to leave and combust the body as a rainbow body, that will happen. Or if it is meant simply to leave and serve as an angel and let that body go without any remorse or any leftover karma in which you had to leave in a state that lacked fulfillment so that there will have to be future incarnations. You want to be in a state of total freedom from all karma, and that has to be achieved immediately so the sanskara of delay is not, does not interfere with your freedom, which has to be known now in the present.
When I come here and then do this meditation with you, it doesn't happen. But when I'm sitting with myself and at home, I often go into places where I'm not sure if I'm zoning out or if I'm in a place where I just don't know where I am and where I'm in that place where I should be. Where, and it's because I'll be there and I'll be in total peace and the time will just fly and then I'll come back. But I just want to know if you have some input as to how I can determine if I'm zoning out or not.
Are you in that state now?
No.
You could be.
Am I?
Because is that state your real self?
No.
No? The state you're talking about of zoning out, you're saying is not your real self.
I don't think so. I hear you talk about that we do that in meditation.
It's possible to zone out. That's a laya state, and that seems to be what you're describing. But when you're in the state of pure awareness, you're beyond zoning out, and you're beyond any difference between meditating and not meditating, because you're not identified with a character. You have no body. You're beyond the difference of waking, dream, and sleep, right? You're in the changeless state, the turiya, right? You're in that state that has nothing to do with the ego mind or its body. It's just pure presence, awareness without thought that is always there in the background. And that's who you are. And when you're in that state, there's no coming back and there's no going, right?
It's just there.
It's all here now.
That's helpful, thank you. Okay, what was the other question? They always go away as soon as I get here. Oh, what came up in my session this time was about the ego that's present within the soul consciousness versus the ego that's present from the childhood development. And
It's the same.
They're the same?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that there was a part of me that when I realized it in the session that I'd been doing, that I felt some shame about and had to be with in the session around all the things that I've been blessed with in my life that have helped me on my spiritual path. And part of my communications with people is about sharing some of those experiences. And I think that sometimes when I do that, it may not be coming from the place of stillness, but from the place of just wanting to help or just maybe doing it without even stopping first to do it. You know?
Yes, that's your ego, I agree. But it's the same ego that was there all along. It's got different sedimentary levels, layers to it, and the top layer is very spiritually sophisticated. But it still enjoys the same narratives and having certain effects on people and controlling its environment and fulfilling its need to help and rescue and save and all of that. But that's all part of the ego. There's no one who needs rescue or saving or healing. It's all one consciousness. All are already free. You mustn't believe in that illusion. You see, when you're beyond the world, then the world is simply a beautiful dream that's perfect and doesn't require anything. Now, spontaneously, the body-mind may offer wisdom or energy or whatever, but it will be done without intention. It just flows. It's the Tao that works by itself. There's no needing to think about what does this person need or want or what should I tell them. No, let all of that go. And experiences, they're a dime a dozen, so nobody needs to know your experiences. What people want is to know who you are right now in this moment, and for you to be able to pierce their heart with pure truth and love.
Many things are coming up since I'm here, and one thing that comes very often is I'm very good at zoning out.
That's what?
Zoning out.
Oh, zoning out.
Zoning out.
Ah.
And not just in meditation, but also, for example, today when I've been in a session with Radama, she was asking me, just speak what comes to mind, to heart. And I was like, blank. I usually have a very analytical, active mind. It's very helpful in many situations. But then it's just blanking out.
Mm-hmm. Well, a blank is a defensive move. It is a calculated move. I'm not going to reveal anything. Therefore, I don't know anything. And so the censor puts thoughts on pause, right? And then as soon as you leave the session, the thoughts won't stop, right? But that you didn't want to share them with her. You're not ready yet to share those thoughts. So what you really have to ask yourself is why I'm not ready to share. Why am I staying closed? Keeping the cards, close to my chest. I'm not yet putting them on the table. But I think it's always out of fear. And How will you be seen if you do that, and judged, and right, etc., etc.
Spot on. Yeah, I just haven't found a way yet to open my cards in that very moment.
Right. So don't be worried about it. Enjoy the ego's ability to choose how much it's going to reveal or not. That's your free will. But instead of just saying, I have no thoughts, say, you know, I don't feel like telling you anything yet, Radhama. Okay? Okay? Maybe it's because there's a lack of trust or a lack of resonance, or first you want to know, what does she want to hear from you? And until you know that, you're not sure what you should reveal to get the right kind of response, right? The ego is always going into these different scenarios and rehearsals and preparations and modes of trying to appear in certain ways to create certain effects. Now, if you could let all of that go and just be in a state that's totally natural, your heart would have plenty of things that it would love to say and to resolve and to let go of once and for all. And why waste time? Why not free yourself now? You know, there's nothing to be gained by holding back.
Spot on. That is helpful. Thank you.
I'm so glad. Namaste.
So I wanted to, well, yesterday in the teaching, you talked a lot about the fragility of the body, and that's kind of been on my consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And what is coming up now is like it brings up weaknesses, which touches a very core fragment within. And
What kind of weaknesses?
weakness of the, well, what I feel is like there's weakness to not, there's weakness to not let go of this anxiety feeling.
Okay, that's not in the body. That's not a fragile body issue.
Yes, but...
It's a fragile ego.
Right.
You must make the distinction.
But the fragility also is a fear of something going to happen to the body.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
There's a paranoid ego that's afraid of everything.
Yes.
It enjoys awfulizing, right?
Okay.
And thinking of all the bad things that could happen, right? And then being afraid they're going to happen, even just because you thought of them, now you're in trouble and it's going to happen, right?
Yes, and even you said, like yesterday in the video, you were saying these things and it brought up a lot of fear.
Yeah. Well, the fear is always there in the ego. That's the problem. That's why you want to be liberated from the ego. Nothing short of liberation from the ego is going to get rid of the fears. You think you can get rid of the fears and stay in your ego and have a fearless ego. They don't exist, okay? There's no ego that is not paranoid at its core. It may have a lot of defenses and is able to repress it better than your ego is able to do. And so people can have bravado and feel like they're on top of the world and, everything is fine. But, when they're alone at night, sometimes the anxiety is going to come up. It can't be avoided. There are moments of truth when if you're in an ego consciousness, those kinds of feelings, which are connected to the lower death drive, are going to emerge. And then they will either capture you or you will defeat them and be victorious in the glory of the light of pure consciousness that was never born and that has no ego. That's what you are. You have to recognize that. You existed as consciousness before your body existed, right? Your consciousness is present timelessly, right? And will still be present when this body has expired. Your consciousness has nothing to do with the body, and it has nothing to do with the operating system of the body, which is where the paranoia is centered, okay? But the only way you're going to get rid of that is to have complete disinterest in that bodily illusion and become totally fascinated with the truth that you are pure consciousness. And what does it mean to be infinite consciousness? That's what you have to begin to wonder about. And the more you enter into that state of wonder, the more the mind will become silent and still, and you'll feel the energies, and you'll feel the power and the wisdom that will come into your heart, that will cleanse your mind of all of that egoic fear. And you will know what freedom is. And once you've tasted it, then you'll know that is the Amrita. That's the nectar of immortality. And then it will pour through your body and you'll be able to deliver it to others. But you have to realize that ego is your enemy. It's not you. Its thoughts of weakness are not true. They're not your weakness. They're the weakness of a consciousness that was made into a black sheep in your family system, scapegoated and made extra fearful and feeling of lack and wrongness and all the bad, awfulizing things that were put into you by their projections and negligence and divorce and all of the things that happened that you blamed yourself for. That had nothing to do with you and were not your fault at all, right? But you've created this fantasy narrative, and that narrative is what is disturbing you. If you can just live in the present and realize that was a fictional set of ideas about who you are that have nothing to do with who you really are. It was just an infant trying to make sense of an impossible situation. But now that you're in real, total consciousness, you see it for the delusion it is, and you let it fall away. It has nothing to do with your reality now. And it just cripples your ability to function at your full capacity. Why do that to yourself when you know it's not real? The fear is not real. Don't be afraid of fear, okay? Throw it out, okay? You are the goddess. You have to treasure yourself. You haven't loved yourself because you imagine that you are just this fearful self-image, but you're not. Go into the pure awareness that's behind that facade and that isn't crying now or feeling weak or sad or pitiful and all the things the ego feels. None of that is real. It's just a delusional film over your consciousness. Don't project your consciousness through that film, because then that's the movie you're going to see. All right? Take that film out of the projector and just let the clear light shine by itself. That's what you are. Okay? Clear light, without an identity or a past or a belief system. Just pure presence. Yeah? And can you feel it now? Well, then you're free. Just stay in freedom. Don't go back. Right? Don't go back into that ego. Yeah? Promise? Yes. Okay. Namaste.